Hey everyone, this is your host from Life Noggin, and today we're answering the question, what are haunted places? Really? Why it's popular? Okay, so let's get into this. So why are ghost stories and haunted places a big deal? Well, for some, believing in ghosts and the paranormal may be a way to cope with grief after losing someone. Others might believe in ghosts because they want to believe there's life after death. Some may even believe in ghosts because science has not been able to explain certain phenomena. One of the most famous haunted places in the world is the Winchester Mystery House. It's a large house in San Jose, California that was once owned by Sarah Winchester, the widow of the Winchester rifle fortune. When she moved into the house, she believed that the ghosts of everyone killed by a Winchester rifle were coming to haunt her. So she had construction workers add on to the house to confuse the spirits. Today, tourists visit the home to see if they can experience any of the paranormal activity that previous owners reported. But what if there's a more logical explanation for these strange occurrences? In 2013, researchers from the University of California, Santa Cruz used electromagnetic field sensors, temperature recorders, audio recorders, and video cameras to investigate the paranormal activity in the house. They found no evidence of ghosts, but they did find some interesting results. For example, one room had an unusually high amount of electromagnetic energy. The team believes this could have been caused by electrical wiring in the room. However, they also noted that it just could have been a random fluctuation. They also found that some parts of the house had abnormally low temperatures. In the middle of the summer, the team believed this may have been due to cold air coming in through cracks in the windows. However, they acknowledged that other explanations are possible. Overall, the team was unable to attribute any of the activity to ghosts. But this isn't the only time researchers have investigated a supposedly haunted place. Back in 2017, the Tower of London, which is now a famous museum and UNESCO World Heritage Site, was rumored to be haunted. According to legend, the tower was built on a former Roman fortress and has seen many executions, killings, and imprisonments over the years. One of the most famous ghosts associated with the tower is that of Lady Jane Grey, who was imprisoned in the tower at the age of 17. After being declared Queen of England for 9 days before being forced to abdicate the throne. Supposedly, her ghost walks the grounds near the entrance of the tower. In order to find out whether there might be something to these rumors, researchers from the University of Southampton brought in specialist ghost hunting equipment. This included a thermal imaging camera and a device that can detect electromagnetic fields. Using this equipment, they scanned the areas where Lady Jane Grey supposedly walked. Now, the whole point of this investigation was to use scientific methods to try to find evidence of paranormal activity. As such, when the team found anomalies in their scans, they tried to come up with a logical explanation first. For example, the team noticed that Lady Jane Grey's apparition was always seen near a window, and they hypothesized that the temperature difference between inside and outside the building could have caused the thermal imaging camera to pick up her form. Additionally, they hypothesized that magnetic anomalies could have been caused by underground pipes. After investigating further, they found that the area where Lady Jane Grey supposedly appeared was close to an air conditioning unit, which could have affected the temperature. And the magnetic anomalies were caused by the iron in the floor. In the end, the team concluded that they couldn't prove that the tower was haunted. But hey, they didn't say that it wasn't haunted either. Now, while neither of these investigations found evidence of ghosts, there still could be some truth to the idea that these places are haunted. There are many reasons why people might think they're experiencing ghosts. For example, in some places, it may be possible to hear sounds through a phenomenon known as infrasound. Infrasound is sound waves with frequencies lower than the range of human hearing, which is typically 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Though humans can't hear infrasound, research suggests that it may be possible for it to trigger psychological responses like fear, anxiety, or changes in breathing patterns. One study published in the Journal of Sound and Vibration tested the effects of infrasound on 16 participants. The researchers played 3 different tones at varying volumes and then asked the participants to rate how they felt while listening to each tone. While none of the tones were audible to the participants, they still reported feelings of uneasiness, tension, and even fear. Even more frightening, the participants rated the sounds as being more negative when the volume increased. So it's possible that in a haunted house, you may feel afraid because of infrasound, not ghosts. Electromagnetic fields, or EMFs, are also sometimes cited as evidence of ghosts. EMFs are created by the movement of electrically charged particles, which is pretty much all of the stuff that makes up our world. Electricity is the flow of electrons through an EMF, and the strength of an EMF is measured in volts per meter. There are some devices on the market that claim to be able to detect EMFs, but do they really work? And can EMFs really affect people? Unfortunately, the answer to both of these questions is probably not. Most EMF meters measure only a small range of frequencies, which means that they may not be useful for detecting higher frequency EMFs. Additionally, Even if they were capable of measuring a wide range of frequencies, it's unclear whether EMFs have the ability to influence human behavior. One of the few studies that has looked at this topic found that EMFs had no effect on mental health patients. However, another study did find that EMFs may cause feelings of depression and fatigue. Still, the jury is out on whether EMFs can really affect the mind. Finally, there's carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a colorless, odorless gas that can be dangerous to humans. It's produced by the incomplete burning of fuels, such as natural gas, wood, or coal, and it can be deadly in enclosed spaces. It's important to note that if you ever suspect you're in a place with high levels of carbon monoxide, you should leave immediately and seek medical attention if necessary. We bring this up because carbon monoxide poisoning causes headaches, weakness, and confusion, which could be mistaken for paranormal activity. Okay, now, while it's possible that some ghost stories may have rational explanations, there are some stories that have stuck around because they just can't be explained away. Like the case of the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall, this ghost is the subject of one of the most famous photographs taken in England. In 1936, it shows what appears to be a woman in 18th century clothing floating down a staircase. The photo was later authenticated by experts, meaning that whatever is going on in the picture is most likely a ghost. But that's not the only reason it's famous. You see, there are two very reasonable explanations for why the photo is so blurry. The first is that the shutter speed was too slow. Back in the day, photographers would often have to wait a while for the perfect shot. And this meant that sometimes their subjects would move before the photo was finished developing. The second explanation is that the light was just bad. Before Photoshop, photographers would sometimes have to develop their photos multiple times in order to get a good shot. And since the image was being developed multiple times, it made the image look more and more blurry with each attempt. But despite these easy explanations, people still believe that the photograph captures a real ghost. So while it's possible that some ghost stories may have rational explanations, others may not be so easily explained away. Now, whether you believe in ghosts or not doesn't matter. These stories and legends are a big part of history and culture, and learning about them can help us understand where our beliefs and traditions come from. So next time you're thinking about visiting a supposedly haunted place, make sure to do your research. There may be some rational explanations for the ghost stories you hear there. Just remember, even if you don't see any ghosts, you're still learning something new. As you can tell, there are a lot of skeptics and believers when it comes to paranormal events. It's a hot topic that seems to spark a lot of debate, so we'd love to know where you stand. Do you believe in ghosts? Let us know your thoughts. And if you want to learn more about debatable topics, check out our series, Debatable. We tackle everything from pop culture to politics. As always, it's me. This has been Life Noggin. Don't forget to keep on thinking.